Between the breathtaking attractions and electric nightlife, you already know there's hardly a dull moment whenever you are in Argentina. But perhaps you're still wondering about what to do when you get there. Then, here are the top things to do in Argentina. Do stick around until the end of this video to discover all the fun activities waiting for you at this tourist's favorite destination. Number 16. Hike on the Perito Moreno Glacier. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to hike on a glacier? Well, you can bet that the experience will be insanely enjoyable. Of course, one of the first places to go in Argentina is El Calafate, from where you'll get the chance to go hiking, not just on any glacier, but the Perito Moreno, which is one of the most popular attractions in South America. Located in the heart of the Los Glaciares National Park, the giant 30-kilometer-long ice formation is a beacon to behold for tourists visiting the Patagonian region of Argentina. Surely, the hike offers a different experience from other hikes, and you would want to ensure you are fit before partaking in this overwhelming activity. You can join hiking tours to safely make your way up these impressive peaks of White Wonderland. And to get to the Perito Moreno Glacier, you can stay at El Calafate and take the 1-hour trip to the park. Number 15. Ride the End of the World train at Ushuaia. A ride to the end of the world sure sounds extreme, but it doesn't even do justice to the amount of fun you'll experience in these parts. Ushuaia is known as the city at the end of the world because it's the southernmost city before Antarctica. But that's not even the only famous thing about this city. While you're there, you surely don't want to miss out on riding the End of the World train at the Tierra del Fuego National Park. This rail line was initially used to transport prisoners to fetch timber in the forest, but it has since been transformed into one of the fun activities for tourists in Tierra del Fuego. You can enjoy a ride through the park on the exciting steam locomotive and enjoy the breathtaking scenes at Argentina's only coastal national park. The 1-hour ride passes through great peaks, swamps, black water, rivers, and sub-Antarctic forests, and it promises an experience to remember. Number 14. Whale watching at Peninsula Valdez. The Patagonian region of Argentina does not lack its fair share of beautiful tourist attractions, but not many are as unique as the Peninsula Valdez in the Chubut province. The 360,000-hectare natural reserve is a UNESCO World Heritage Center and a globally recognized site for conserving marine mammals. This natural reserve is where you'll come to see the southern right whales in their majestic natural habitat while interacting with thousands of other tourists just like you. The whales are often present between June and December, but you may want to fix your visit to August, September, or October, when the whales are sure to make an appearance. To get to the Peninsula Valdez, you can fly to Puerto Madryn and take an hour's drive to the reserve. The view of the water alone is exceptional, and you can also view other sea animals like sea lions and elephant seals on the peninsula. Whale watching at the peninsula should definitely be at the top of your bucket list of things to do in Argentina. Number 13. Visit Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires. If you are a fan of history and monuments, you should head down to Recoleta in Buenos Aires, where the Recoleta Cemetery is located. Indeed, it doesn't sound like your typical attraction, but Recoleta has seen a vast number of visitors in the past years. These visitors are often trooping in to witness one of the most architecturally beautiful cemeteries with a unique type of history. Here, you'll find the graves of notable individuals like Eva Perón, Julio Argentino Roca, and other significant dignitaries who helped shape Argentine history and played their part in making the country what it is today. The cemetery opens daily, but you can get free guided tours from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays and an extra hour on weekends and public holidays. Number 12. Look into the Devil's Throat at Iguazu Falls. You must have heard of the Iguazu Falls, which is one of the most famous attractions in the country. This is one of the most visited tourist centers, and it's one you do not want to miss out on visiting during your stay in Argentina. It's located just outside the eastern part of the country, close to the Brazilian border, and it's a recognized UNESCO World Heritage Site. Iguazu National Park protects the falls, and there are 275 separate falls in this amazing location. However, you may want to join the multitude lining up to view the U-shaped cataract in this area, which is also known as the Devil's Throat. You will undoubtedly marvel at the view of pure water falling freely from a height of over 350 feet. Plus, the Devil's Throat lines up about 14 of the most impressive falls at Iguazu that are sure to take your breath away. Luckily for visitors, there's an international airport close to the park, so you can fly in from any location to visit this fantastic site. However, most tourists camp in Buenos Aires, from where they take the famous flight to the park. Number 11. Take a selfie with Magellanic penguins. The Magellanic penguins are a famous breed of penguins from South America, mostly found in Argentina and Chile. These beautiful species are almost endangered and can only be seen in a few locations across South America. Tourists visiting the Patagonian region of Argentina often take a day out to go view the penguins in their natural habitat, where they appear in numbers. You too can explore the beautiful scenes at coastal Patagonia and get a chance to watch the majestic black and white penguins in their breeding season. To catch a glimpse of the Magellanic penguins, it's best to take a trip to the region in December. Number 10. Walk in the Valley of the Moon. A visit to Iguazu Provincial Park promises an experience unlike any other, which is why you should not hesitate to add it to your bucket list. You may think it an exaggeration to call it the Valley of the Moon, but you'll understand it better when you get there. Surely, there's no moon in the valley, but a walk in this park feels like an excursion around outer space. The gray sand at the valley often looks whitish under the right light, and its red rock formations are not very much unlike those found on Mars. Indeed, the experience here justifies the name of the valley. Located on the outskirts of San Juan, Argentina, this valley has been a significant attraction for tourists looking for a different experience over the years. You can also hike the mountains and marvel at the sight of extraordinary surfaces here. Surely this is where to come if you're a nature lover or geography enthusiast. Most tourists pair this trip to the neighboring Mars-like Talampaya National Park, famous for its unusual eroded rock formations, extensive dinosaur remains, and archaeological sites. A trip to the moon and Mars. Nice. Number 9. Climb the highest mountain in the Americas. South America is filled with tremendous peaks, which is why it always attracts hikers from all around the world. However, none of these peaks and highlands can compare to Mount Aconcagua, which is the highest mountain in the Americas. It's located just outside the Aconcagua Provincial Park in the Andes, close to the Chilean border. It's also one of Argentina's most popular tourist attractions and one you cannot afford to miss out on visiting. Standing at an elevation of almost 7,000 meters, this mountain offers a new type of hiking challenge for experts far and wide. If you think you are up for the challenge, why not test your fitness levels by joining other experts to tromp up the 14-kilometer-long Horcones Confluencia trails to the base camp on your way to the top of the summit. The hike is only one of the numerous activities in this famous location, and you can also enjoy the view of the mountains from the base if you do not fancy your chances on the trails. Number 8. Trace the Jesuits' history at San Ignacio Mini Ruins. If you would rather subscribe for a walk down the religious history lane in Argentina, then your destination should be none other than the San Ignacio Mini. This trip will take you to the Misiones province in northeastern Argentina, where Christianity has firm roots in the country. Of course, this place is only one of the many missions founded in South America by the Jesuits, but it is by far the most significant to date. Back in the day, San Ignacio Mini gained popularity for sheltering its constituents from the war and the webs of slave trade in the region. But today, it's regarded as Argentina's most historic religious preservation. Here, you can find traces of the Jesuits' history in the country, dating back to the 16th and 17th centuries, with religious relics on display in these ruins. The architecture itself is a beautiful sight to behold, and this trip is one you shouldn't miss as a religious history enthusiast. By the way, if you want to learn how to save money on airfares, then click the link in the description below. This guide teaches you how to always get the cheapest flights. Number 7. Dance tango at a milonga. It may interest you to know that the popular tango dance and music genre originated in Argentina. In fact, it's almost impossible to talk about Argentina without mentioning the ever so impressive music and intense dance style that goes with it. So, you already know you will see a lot of tango during your stay in Argentina. And what better opportunity could there be to learn the extraordinary dance steps? What's most impressive about all these is that you can find milongas with tango performances wherever you are in the country, from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. It certainly would feel like a waste of time to exhaust your day in Argentina without partaking in the indigenous dance in a ballroom. So one of the top things to do in Argentina is head to a milonga and dance tango with the locals. Number 6. See the Hill of Seven Colors at Quebrada de Humahuaca. If you are looking for dramatic sceneries that will capture your imagination, then you would want to head up north to the Jujuy province. Here, you'll find the Quebrada de Humahuaca Valley, which is a famous landmark in the region of northwest Argentina. There are many catchy features about this valley, but it's most famous for the Hill of Seven Colors located within its axis. This hill makes the attraction an outright favorite for tourists visiting the region, and you sure do not want to miss out on this one. Of course, it's not merely named the Hill of Seven Colors for naming's sake alone. No, it's actually a hill with shades of several stunning colors. Well, even tourists who visit this valley have confirmed that you can't really prepare your mind for the awesomeness to be witnessed at this UNESCO-recognized site. Don't forget to check out the ancient structure of Tilcara de Pucara while you're in the region. Number 5. Walk in the footprint of dinosaurs in Neuquén province. Dinosaurs are legendary animals that have since become extinct. But if you want to get sufficient proof of their existence in this present time, then pack your bags and head down to Neuquén province, where you can literally walk in the footsteps of these fantastic creatures. How much more exciting can it get? Villa El Chalcón is a small village in the province with a rich history of dinosaurs, earning it the name Dinosaur Valley. In the Triassic period, the trails in this village show 33 original dinosaur footsteps imprinted on rocks millions of years ago. A walk through the trails will see you explore one of the few places with actual dinosaur fossils. However, you may want to keep your eyes peeled to spot the age-old dinosaur bones along the parts. Number 4. Go wine tasting at Mendoza. If you know the slightest bit about Argentina, chances are you already know about the country's fine wine and craft beers brewing. So, do you want to know whether the legends are true? Then take a trip to Mendoza, where the best wineries are located. Of course, Mendoza is one of the largest cities in Argentina, with millions of tourists trooping in every year. But a closer look and you'll find out that most of these tourists flock here to enjoy the heartwarming taste of the city's quality wine. If you are a wine lover, wine tasting at Mendoza should be at the top of your things to do in Argentina. Indeed, the wineries here are the best, and you can rest assured of quality wine that will blow your mind. Number 3. Go horse riding with the Gauchos. Again, your trip to Argentina will be deemed incomplete without a day out to go horse riding with the Gauchos. This one activity will surely tickle your fancy if you are a fan of horseback riding. But even if you're not a big fan, you can still rest assured a fun time out in an estancia. What's more, the Gauchos are both able and willing to take you through the basics, so beginners do not have much to worry about either. Take a trip out to the countryside and experience life in an estancia. Enjoy the cool breeze on your skin as you gallop around the farm to help round up the horses and cattle while relishing the fantastic scenery. Number 2. Watch Argentina's national sport, pato. Argentina is widely known for its involvement in sports like soccer and polo, and quite a number of Argentines have made their mark on these sports. However, the official national sport of the country is the lesser-known pato. This sport may be somewhat unheard of in other countries, but it's often the buzz in these parts, with several competitions hosted annually. Pato, which translates to duck game in English, has its roots firmly planted in Argentine history since it was officially named the national sport in 1953. The game requires 2 teams of 4 horses and riders to try and keep possession of a ball from each other for as long as possible. Well, you already know you need to be a good rider to even attempt this game, and you may want to sit this one out if you're not familiar with aggressive horse riding. The game, as they say, requires strength, balance, and control. Plus, you'll certainly need some nerves to venture into this sport at a more professional level. However, you are safe to indulge at an amateur level, and you'll find it pretty fun once you do. Number 1. Explore Argentina's own salt flats, Salinas Grandes. Another thing that should be on your list of things to do in Argentina is a tour around Salinas Grandes, which is Argentina's salt flats. Surely you must have heard of the famous salt flats in South America, especially the epic flats in Bolivia. But it may interest you to know that there's one such flat in Argentina too, and it's every bit as impressive as its Bolivian counterpart. The salt flats are located in Jujuy province and the Salta region, and they have been the talk of these towns, attracting visitors from far and wide. The White Desert, as it's also called, covers a total surface area of about 215 square kilometers, with salt formations. This natural salt reservoir is often a wonder to behold, and the fact that it displays a whitish glow under the right light confirms that it's worth seeing. Be sure to take note of the exciting features along the way as you tour this place. You can also make the most of your trip by exploring these flats along with the picturesque village of Purmamarca just outside the site. Click on this next video now to discover more things you will love about Argentina.